Welcome back to the grind for another Summer of Pain guide. This time it is DarkHawk, and DarkHawk has several annoying nodes on him, but he is still a very manageable boss, especially compared to last week. The absolute best champion for this boss is Magneto. You can even do it with a 3-star champion, and there are ways we will discuss how to decrease block damage. And one of the annoying things about DarkHawk is his special attacks are all unblockable, but every 10 hits on the combo meter is going to give you a steadfast charge, so you can block one hit from an unblockable. Now, if you get yourself in the corner, you can hold block, evade the first hit, and then parry the second hit like this. And this is a very effective way to decrease block damage while discouraging DarkHawk from throwing special attacks. Because if you hold block, he will not likely throw a special attack, and then you can dex the first medium hit, which is going to deal a lot of block damage, and then parry the second medium hit. Now, I find this most effective in the corner, but it can be done in the middle of the map. I am not as good at doing it in the middle of the map. However, I usually tend to dex too far back, and then DarkHawk just doesn't throw a second hit. If you need to, you can take some blocked hits in order to do reparry. And the nice thing about Magneto is once you knock him down, he gets that shield mode, but you don't have to worry about the shield mode because Magneto will ignore auto blocks, and therefore you will not have to worry about hitting him in the block from an auto block and taking damage back. Now, I did choke a little bit at the end here, got lucky with that special too, but still ended up pretty close to dying on this run. And here I had to take some blocked hits because I didn't have any steadfast buffs, but I did manage to get him down in a one-shot with Magneto, which gives you the villain solo objective and the mutant solo objective. Now, we're going in with Guillotine for the robot objective, which is nice because she has multiple hits on her special 2 to build up steadfast charges. Now, a tip with any champion, you want to do a 4-hit combo, ending with a 3rd light attack and then dashing back and holding block so that he is less likely to throw a special attack. And then at the very start of the fight, before I had steadfast charges, I was okay taking some block damage for reparries, because even sometimes when you did block right away, he would still throw a special attack. And what you want to do is evade the first beam, block the second 2 beams, and then evade the last beam. And if you're good at it, you can actually evade the first beam, block the second beam, and then actually dex twice to evade the 3rd and 4th beams to save your steadfast charges. I'd like to throw my special 2 and then back up all the way to the back corner, and he's less likely to throw a special attack while you're dashing back. And then you can do the dex of the first hit and parry the second hit, do a couple hits, and then dash back so you're back in the corner again, because it's much easier to take advantage of that dex parry trick because you have the wall to hold you close enough to DarkHawk, so he's going to throw that second hit. And it is a bit tedious, but until you build up a significant amount of these steadfast charges, what I did and worked very well to me was just doing 2 hits, dex back, dex parry, 1 medium, 1 light, and then dash back and hold block again. And I did this until I had enough power to throw off another special 2. And then I was more aggressive and I pushed him back a little bit across the map and then threw off a special 2. And then I had a significant amount of steadfast charges, so I was safe to play a little more aggressive. And then if he did throw off a special attack, I was able to block at least 2 of the hits. And sometimes all I did was block 1 of the hits. And this allowed me to keep enough steadfast charges active. Once he does get that, once you do knock him down, you do not want to attack into him because he's going to auto block and deal a bunch of energy back to you. So that's when you again dash back until you're in the corner and then repeat this strategy. This is probably the easiest way to manage this boss, even though it is a bit tedious. But once you get Guillotine ramped up, you start to deal a significant amount of damage. And once you have enough steadfast buffs, you don't have to worry about the special attacks quite as much. And if you get to a point where you're low on steadfast buffs, you can just go back to the more safe playing in the corner and waiting out for enough of those steadfast charges. Now with Warlock, also a robot, you do a very similar strategy, or I did anyways, but there's a little bit of an additional perk to Warlock that we'll discuss. Now, what I liked to do with Warlock was very similar to what I did with Guillotine, and that was to try to play a little bit more aggressive at first and get off a special 2, which has multiple hits for building up the steadfast buff. Now here I only have 1 steadfast buff, so I'm going to show you, you can dex the first hit, block the second hit, and then immediately dash back twice quickly, and that will allow you to dex 2 hits, which means every time he throws a special attack, you only consume 1 steadfast buff. Now we've pushed him into the corner, we've thrown off a special 2, and he gets his auto block shield mode up, so you want to just dash back and get yourself to the corner, and then you can go back into this mode where you're dexing and parrying, or you can actually dex and use a light attack to counter him with pretty much any champion. But the nice perk of Warlock is he has such long reach on his light attack that you can go back, hold block, dash back, to dex the medium hit and then use a light attack to counter that. And the reach on the light attack is so much that you can do that very easily. The other perk of Warlock is if you take some chip damage or you mess up like I just did there, his special 3 can heal, and so you can use the special 3 once you've ramped up some steadfast charges. You can just rely on using the special 3 to continue to heal yourself a little bit throughout the fight, and allows you to take some chip damage or take some mistake damage throughout the fight as well. And then again, once you've knocked him down, you want to dash back to the other side, and then you go back into that cycle where you dex his medium dash attack and then counter with a light attack. And the reach on Warlock's light attack once again is long enough that it makes it very easy to do this shallow evade and counter with a light attack. Now, you can use any champion for this fight and likely get it down in just 2 or 3 revives. Medusa is a nice option because she can ignore auto block, but unfortunately, when you do Armor Shatter DarkHawk, he doesn't get any sort of modification from power control. So this is included. He still gains power while he is armor shattered. And here's an example again where you can dex the last 2 beams. If you just dex back quickly after the second beam hits your block, dex back very quick to evade the final 2 beams. So Medusa is a decent option if you are not going for all the objectives and you just need an option and you're limited on options and you happen to have Medusa. You could do this in 2 or 3 revives quite easily. If you do want other options, other auto block options will work, like Nick Fury. He also has multiple hits on his special 1, which will grant him lots of steadfast charges, so that's another option as well. And then any champion, like I said, can be used. Another example that I decided to take in was Hyperion, and what's nice about Hyperion is he relies lots on heavy attacks, which doesn't matter for the shield mode because they can't block a heavy attack. So you can continue to throw heavy attacks while he has shield mode active, and then if you want to throw off a special attack, particularly a special 2, you'll want to wait out the shield mode. But if you're doing that, most likely you're going to end up gaining power to a special 3, but this can be a very safe way to play as well, especially if you back yourself into the corner, dex the first medium attack and then parry the second hit, throw off a heavy attack, and then hold block. He's very unlikely to throw a special attack if you're using that method, as we showed with Magneto. And so if you just back yourself into a corner with Hyperion, dex the medium, parry the second hit, throw a heavy attack, build up to a special 3, throw a special 3, and repeat. So that can be a very safe way to do this fight if you're not going for any of the objectives. So I hope this video was helpful. Good luck, and I hope to see you in the next video.